Good afternoon, everyone. Let's just wait for 2-3 minutes since we have only two people now. Okay. Okay, let's begin with the class since we have 10 people now. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. Hope you all have had your lunch. So, now we'll be covering topics which are reading comprehension. Usually, it comes for 8 marks. Okay. So, it'll be there. That's a compulsory question. And we'll also see synonyms and antonyms, sentence correction and formation, active and passive voice, direct and indirect speech, idioms and phrases. Okay. We'll try covering all these topics. Okay, so let's start with reading comprehension for now. Let's learn how to solve such questions, and also let's try solving one or two examples based on the same thing. Okay, same like morning. I want you guys to be active. Try answering questions. Try being productive. Yes. Let me share you with the PPT. Let's quickly learn how we can solve these kind of questions. The screen is visible, right? Yes, it's visible to you. Guys, yes, no, yeah. A network issue, maybe that's why your messages are coming in little late. Okay, let's see what is reading comprehension. So here we'll be learning about the introduction to reading comprehension, fundamental skills which are required in efficient reading comprehension, general strategies which are used to solve such questions based on reading comprehension. Okay, so intro we have here is reading comprehension is the ability to process text, understand its meaning, and to integrate with what the reader already knows. So it is ability to process the text. When you read it, when you read a paragraph, it says the ability to process the text, understands its meaning. So you have to understand the content of what is being given to you and to integrate with what the reader already knows. So you should grab some ideas when you read a paragraph, when you read a sentence out of it, correct? So reading comprehension is the level of understanding of a text or message. So to what level, to what extent one can understand, one can grab the keywords and understand the content. So that depends on each individual. So it depends on your vocabulary as well, because many times when we are given with kind of complex words or new words which we are unknown or unaware of, then it becomes difficult for us to understand the whole meaning of the sentence, right? So it depends, like it depends on the given words as well. So it is important for us to know many words, as much as words as possible, to understand questions when given in certain paragraphs. Okay. So comprehension is nothing but a creative and multifaceted process dependent upon four of the language skills, which are phonology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. So you have to understand even with the syntax, even with the phonology, semantics, and pragmatics as well. So now let's see fundamental skills which are required in efficient reading comprehension. So knowing the meaning of words, as I said, when a sentence is being given to you, when a paragraph is being given to you, for you to understand it as a whole, it is important to first understand the meaning of the words given. So that is why you should know the meaning of the words mentioned in a given sentence or a paragraph. So ability to understand meaning of a word from discourse context. So see, understanding when you know a meaning of a particular word, but when it comes as a whole sentence, it might change the meaning of the whole sentence itself. So for you to understand from discourse context, so from the context which has been, the writer has written the whole paragraph, for you to understand that, it is important. So that skill you have to possess. Ability to follow organization of passage and to identify antecedents and references in it. So you have to follow the organization of passage. See, when a passage is given to you, it will be in a certain order, right? But some passages, when it comes to higher level exams, or these and all, these reading comprehension questions will also be asked in what do you say, in government recruitment process also, like those exam, government exams, banking exams, like as in IBPS, or even in KPSC, IAS and all, certain questions will be based, like they will be given. Even, yeah, yes, in KPSC, reading comprehension question will be compulsory there. So for you to understand how the organization of passage, like in what context it is given and how confusing it can be, for you to identify the antecedents, references, keywords given in the particular passages, important. Ability to draw inferences from a passage about its contents. As I said, when you identify certain keywords which are, which has to be highlighted in a given passage, and for you to relate it to the question asked, or when you can actually think, okay, this might be the answer for this question, okay, this might be something important in a given passage. So that is important, to draw interferences inferences from a passage. Ability to identify the main thought of a passage. Okay, when you read a passage as a whole, to understand the main conclusion, or what the passage is all about, what exactly it is willing to say. So for the ability for you to understand the whole thought of a passage is important. Ability to answer questions answered in a passage. So answer questions answered in a passage, or asked from a passage. I think the sentence given there is a quite wrong. So ability to answer the questions based on the given passage. These are the fundamental skills which are required in efficient reading comprehension. Okay. Okay. So now let's see what do we have next. So here we have three more abilities. Okay. Ability to recognize the prepositional structures used in a passage and determine its tone. So in what tone the context is given as, in what tone the person, like if there is some statement said by so and so person, then to understand in what tone it has been said to, whether it's in a tone of expression, tone of or whether it's an interrogative statement, for you to recognize that is also important. Okay, so to understand the situational mood conveyed for assertions, questioning, commanding, refraining, etc. As I said, the emotions behind the said statement, whether, and also the mood, which with what mood that has been said to, or that has been referred to, for you to understand from their point of view, from their perspective is important. Ability to determine writer's purpose, intent, and point of view, and draw inferences about the writer. Okay, so when a passage is given to you, it is not your passage, it is not something written by you, correct, for you to see it from your point of view, or to understand from your point of view. So when a passage is given to you, you have to think from a writer's point of view, you have to understand from his point of view. Okay, only then you can find the actual meaning of the passage, or what is the intent or intention behind the written passage, or what is the content is all about. For you to understand that, you have to see the passage from the writer's point of view, and understand the purpose, intent, and point of view, and also the reference made by the writer. These are the fundamental skills. Okay, so now let's see the strategies which are required for reading comprehension. So first strategy is using prior knowledge or previewing. So when you preview text, you tap into what you already know, that will help you to understand the text you are about to read. Okay, so when you notice something, when you notice a passage, see if it is about okay, for example, hare and a tortoise. Okay, if it is a story about hare and a tortoise, that is rabbit and a tortoise, you have heard, right, about the race between the hare and a tortoise. So it is something you already know, right? It is a story which you can already relate to. So just by seeing the keyword, you can understand, okay, this is the story related to the hare and tortoise story, right? So same way, when you look into few words, you have to right away grab the situation or the content behind the given passage or the statement. So using prior knowledge, so when you look at few keywords, look at few mentioned words in a sentence, it will be easy for you if you have a little bit, at least some knowledge about the given keywords or words. Okay, so this provides a framework for any new information you read. Okay, when you right away feel that it is something important, it is something that has to be highlighted, it is a keyword which can be an answer to the given question. When you right away can identify such keywords, such statements, then it will be easier for you, it will provide a framework, it will provide an outlook for you to answer any given question. That is why using prior knowledge or previewing. Okay, second one is predicting. So when you make predictions about the text you're about to read, it sets up expectations based on your prior knowledge about similar topics. Okay, as I said, if a given, you know, if a given passage is about a pandemic, okay, like for example, if it is about COVID, okay, then it is easier for you, right? You have some idea, you have some prior knowledge about the COVID-19, correct? How it was a, like in what way that pandemic, hit throughout the world, how I mean, how people were affected by COVID-19. So some knowledge you will have based on the given topic, so it'll be easier for you, it'll be easier for you to make the predictions about the text you're about to read. Okay, when you know something out from the given passage, it'll be easier for you to answer the same, to provided a framework for the given comprehension. So as you read, you may mentally revise your prediction as you gain more information. Okay, when you have some thoughts about it, some knowledge already about it, when you start reading the sentences or passage, you will start relating to what you already know, so it will be easier for you to understand. Okay, so identifying the main idea and summarizing requires that you determine what is important and then put it in your own words. So okay, when after you read, okay, now you know something about the given comprehension. Okay, yeah, like let's think that it is about COVID-19. Okay, so we know things about COVID-19, at least something out of COVID-19, correct? So when we read the passage, we understood that this passage given here is about COVID-19. So then you have understood the keywords. When you read the sentences, you have come through. I mean, you have come across certain keywords which you feel they are important for you to answer the questions as well, correct? So after that, identifying the main idea. So after you read this given sentence or passage, when you can identify what is the intent behind the given passage. So implicit in this process is trying to understand the author's purpose in writing the text. So what was his purpose? What was his idea when he wrote this text? So for that, you will to understand, you have to get the main idea of the given passage. Yes. So, while reading, keeping your brain active and engaged while you read decreases distractions, mind wandering, and confusion. Okay, so you have to be focused when you read certain passages, because when five questions are being asked on the given passage, you have to understand how important it is, how easily you can score 5 marks when after answering these questions, correct? Because the passage is given there, like after reading the passage, after getting to know the intent, you can easily answer the given question. So you have to have complete focus, you have to keep your brain active, you have to concentrate on the passage while you read the statements. Okay, it decreases distractions, confusion, etc. So try some of these strategies to keep yourself focused on the text and engaged in critical thinking about the text while you read. So you have to try all these strategies when you come across reading comprehension. So fifth one is questioning. Asking and answering questions about text is another strategy that helps you focus on the meaning of the text. Okay, so when you come across certain keywords, when you find that it is something important, it is something necessary to answer the questions, when you can ask yourself certain questions. Okay, why was this even mentioned? You will have certain doubts, right? So when you question yourself and when you try answering for yourself, it becomes easy for you to understand the whole text, you understand the whole idea behind the given text. So teachers can help by modeling about both the process of asking good questions and strategies for finding the answers in the text. Okay, so, making inferences. In order to make inferences about something that is not explicitly stated in the text, you must learn to draw on prior knowledge and recognize clues in the text itself. Clues is nothing but keywords, okay? So, when you have a little knowledge about the given statement or given passage, it becomes easier for you. As I said, making inferences. If you have the prior knowledge, it gets easier for you to understand the meaning of the given passage. So visualizing. Studies have shown that students who visualize while reading have better recall than those who do not. Okay. Because when you read and when you start answering the questions, often we forget. Okay, like when we don't focus much, or when we don't imagine ourselves in the situation, as I said, when you don't see it from the writer's point of view, then it becomes difficult to remember, correct? Because you would have read the sentence just a minute back, but when you start answering the questions or reading the questions, you might forget the link or relations or what is mentioned in the given text. That is why you have to visualize yourself in the text accordingly and then answer. Okay, that was a quote by Presley from 1977. Readers can take advantage of illustrations that are embedded in the text or create their own mental images or drawings when reading text without illustrations. Okay, when there are no illustrations given, you have to visualize, as I said, think that you are in that particular situation. Those things are happening around you. Okay, you have to observe in that point of view. Only then it becomes easier for you. You don't have to read the passage again while you start answering the questions. That is why you have to visualize things. And the seventh one is summarize. So, after reading small sections of text, that is a couple of paragraphs, a page, or a chunk of text separated by a heading or subheading, summarize the main points and two or three key details in your own words. So, when a big passage is given, okay, then like it might be a page, a full page, or something like that, then you have to summarize, as I said, keep the whole summary for yourself. It should be ready within you. So, what is it all about? Why is this passage given? What is the intent? What is the idea behind the given passage? So, you should know the summary of the given passage. These summaries can serve as the base for your notes while reading. So, having the summary helps you solve the questions better. Okay, guys, this was about reading comprehension. Understood? Yes? Understood with reading comprehension? Yes, no? Okay. Sneha here says yes. Okay, let's quickly solve one or two questions based on the same. And we'll start with antonyms and synonyms also. Why antonyms and synonyms? Because, at least one question will be related to antonyms and synonyms out of reading comprehension. Because you should know, like, when to use antonyms, when to use synonyms, what is the meaning of antonyms or synonyms. So you should know certain things. That is why when asked, it'll be easier for you to answer certain questions. That is why after this, let's see what are, like, let's just brush up through antonyms and synonyms and then move on to the next topic. Okay. Okay, first let's solve a few questions. I'll just share you the screen. We'll solve one or two and then we'll start with next one. Okay. Guys, can you see the screen? Okay, I want you to read the passage first. Is it visible to you? You can read it, right? Okay, now what you do is read passage. I'll give you 2 minutes of time. Read the passage and then we'll start with answering the questions. Okay? Is it blur, Darshan? Maybe anybody else facing the same issue? Is it blur to you now? Not audible? I was not talking. I said I'll give you 2 minutes of time to read the passage. Still, I'm not. Am I not audible to you? Others, is it blur? Is it still blur? Guys, I think it is something related to your network issue as well. Yours are, because some are saying it is fine. Just see if there's any issue with the network. Okay, once you have completed the reading, just say like you're done with it, and then we'll begin with it. Yes? Okay, good. Okay, so let's read it. But I did not want to shoot the elephant. I watched him beating his bunch of grass against his knees with the preoccupied grandmotherly air that elephants have. It seemed to me that it would be murder to shoot him. I had never shot an elephant and never wanted to. Somehow it always seems worse to kill large animal. Besides, there was the beast's owner to be considered. But I had got to act quickly. I turned to some experienced looking Burmans who had been there when we arrived and asked them how the elephants had been behaving. They all said the same thing. He took no notice of you if you left him alone, but he might charge if you went loose no too close to him. Okay, this is the passage given. So it is about what is like who is saying this according to you. So there is some hunter or someone who has come to shoot or hunt animals, right? He has come to shoot or hunt animals. So here he is saying from the hunters. Let's keep it as hunter. Yes, he has come. It is from his point of view, correct? So when this is about him. Where he didn't want to shoot the elephant. So let's read the questions one by one and see which one is the right answer. So the first question here is the phrase preoccupied grandmotherly air signifies. So what according to you is the right answer here? Whether is it A, B, C or D? A is given as being totally unconcerned, pretending to be very busy, a very superior attitude, calm, dignified, and affectionate disposition. So, preoccupied grandmotherly air. So, what do you think is the right answer? Okay, Lavanya says option D. What about others? Okay, Chandan also agrees with Lavanya, saying option D. Anybody else with different answer? Any either of you? Can you explain why did we choose option D? Is there any particular reason why you chose option D? By understanding what did you choose option D? Lavanya, Chandana, why option D? Yes, that grandmotherly word is close to being calm because grandmotherly, preoccupied grandmotherly air. See, that doesn't mean totally unconcerned. So, no, not option A, pretending to be very busy. So, grandmothers, grandparents won't be busy. So, not option B. Option C, a very superior attitude. No. Option D, calm, dignified, and affectionate disposition. That is how we relate to grandparents, correct? So, that is also one of the reason grandmotherly, preoccupied grandmotherly air. That is why option D is the right answer. Correct. So let's see the second question. From the passage, it appears that the author was what? Option A, B, C, D, which is an inexperienced hunter, whether he was kind and considerate, possessed with fear, a worried man. What do you think is the right answer? Yes, option B is the right answer because he did not want to kill the elephant, correct? He did not want to do that. Even though he was a hunter, he still was considerate. That is why option B is the right answer. So, third question, the author did not want to shoot the elephant because he, option A, afraid was afraid of it, did not have the experience of shooting big animals, did not wish to kill animal which was not doing anybody any harm, did not find the elephant to be ferocious. Yes, it is option B because he never shot a large animal, correct? It was clearly mentioned in the passage. Somehow it always seems was to kill large animals. So he was inexperienced to kill a large animal. So you all have got the right answer. Now let's see the next question. 1 second. Let me see which is apt for you. I'm just searching for a smaller passage so it's easy. Okay, this one is nice. Section 35. Okay. Guys, read this passage. It's smaller one and it's simple and easy also. Okay, just I'll give you 2 minutes of time. Read it properly, understand the keywords, see what is the statement which you find important or highlighted to be highlighted, and then let's start with solving the questions. Okay. Just say done when you're done with it, okay? Yes, Darshan have muted. I mean, I've given. I told you, no, I'm giving 2 minutes time. Just say done when you read the passage. Okay. Okay. So now we can start. Let's see what is given. In the world today, we make health an end in itself. We have forgotten that health is really means to enable a person to do his work and do it well. A lot of modern medicine, and this includes many patients as well, as many physicians, pays very little attention to health but very much attention to those who imagine that they are ill. So our great concern with health is shown by the medical columns in newspapers, the health articles in popular magazines, and the popularity of television programs and all those books on medicine. We talk about health all the time, yet for the most part the only result is more people with imaginary illness. The healthy man should not be wasting time talking about health. He should be using health for work. The work does the work that good health possible. Okay, this was about the health here being the focus of the passage. So let's see. Let's start with the first question. So modern medicine is primarily concerned with, what do you think is the answer? Is it option B, guys? Who else agree with Darshan? So in the second sentence you can see, what does it say of modern medicine, and this includes many patients as well as many physicians, pays very little attention to health but very much attention to those who imagine that they are ill. So people suffering from imaginary illness, correct? So let's see the second question. B was the right answer, guys. Okay, so the passage suggests that health is an end in itself. Health is blessing. Health is only means to an end. We should not talk about health. What is it? Is it B, guys? The passage suggests, it does that suggest health is blessing? Okay, here you can say either B or C can be an answer. It also suggests that health is a blessing and also says health is only means to an end. Health is an end, it's end in itself. That doesn't come. So that says we like option A, because you're saying option A because I'll just show you this passage once again. When you read the first statement, see how clearly in the world today we make health and end in itself. So that implies that we do that thing. We kind of have that do that. I mean, take that such actions to make that health and end in itself. It the whole passage doesn't say that to us, correct? So it is not option A. So option B or option C, you can say. Okay, understood why we didn't take option A as an answer? Yes. See, that was just a single statement saying we make such or we perform such actions to make health and end in itself. So the whole passage doesn't imply as that. See, it is not, they are not asking questions based on one person's point of view. Okay, they're asking the passage, whole passage, conclusion. So when you see that, you can say B or C can be an answer, correct? Understood, guys? Yes? Okay, now let's move on to the question 3, which says talking about the health all the time makes people. Option A, always suffer from imaginary illness. Option B, sometimes suffer from imaginary illness. Option C, rarely suffer from imaginary illness. D, often suffer from imaginary illness. Is it option B? Can we see the statement again? I mean, passage. Let's just see. See, this is how we waste our time if we don't read the passage correctly. That is why we need to know the passage. When we read itself, we have to be sure of what is given. Correct? So, here you see, where is it given? What was the question? Talking about the health all the time. Correct? You see the fourth line, okay, we talk about health all the time, yet for the most part, the only result is more people with imaginary illness, correct? So it is option D, not option B. Not sometimes, it is often. Often people suffer from imaginary illness. You cannot say always also. You cannot say rarely also. You cannot say sometimes also. Often is the right word. So talk about the health all the time makes often people suffer from imaginary illness. So option D is the right answer. Next, let's read question number 4. The passage tells us, see, again the conclusion. It's from the whole passage point of view, you have to see. Option A, how medicine should be manufactured. Option B, what healthy man should do or should not do. Option C, what television program should be about. Option D, how best to imagine illness. So, what is the right answer here? The fourth question. See, it's an easy one. There's nothing to be confused about, correct? Fourth question, what would be the answer? Is it option A? It doesn't tell us how to manufacture, how the medicine should be manufactured. No, it is definitely not option A. Is it option B? Who else agrees with Lavanya? See, this whole passage is not about medicine at all, right? It's about the health. Okay, let's not waste time. Yes, option B is the right answer. It tells us what a healthy man should do or should not do. Okay, the fifth question here is a healthy man should be concerned with what? His work, which good health makes possible, or looking after his health, which makes work possible, or talking about health. What is it? Fifth question, can you answer? Okay. His work, which good health makes possible. Correct. It is option A. Option A is the right answer. Guys, do you want to solve one more question or should we move forward? What do you think? One more question or should we move on to next topic? Okay, one more. Okay, let me just look for a simple one. Okay, this one is nice. Wait, 20th one. Okay, it's a smaller one. Just 1 minute time. Okay, we should wind this up at 2:25 or 2:30. Just read the passage. We'll start right away. Okay, so done. Guys, done. Okay, let's start with it. Okay, I think 1 minute is enough. Let's see what is given. The casual horrors and real disasters are thrown at newspaper reader without discrimination. So, in the contemporary arrangements for circulating the news, an important element, evaluation is always weak and often wanting entirely. There is no point anywhere along the line somewhere someone put his foot down for certain and says this is important and that does not amount to row of beans, deserves no one's attention and should not travel the wires no further. The junk is dressed up to look as meaningful as the real news. So it is about the news given in newspapers. So let's start with answering the questions. So evaluation of news would imply Option A, less dependence on modern systems of communication, more careful analysis of each news story and its value, separating beans from junk, discriminating horrors from disasters. What is the answer? Evaluation of news would imply. Is it option B, guys? Who else agrees with Lavanya here? How is it option D, Darshan? Evaluating of news would imply. See this, read the second line. In the contemporary arrangements for circulating the news, an important element, evaluation is always weak and often wanting entirely. So evaluation, it means that more careful analysis of each news and news story and its value. That's the right answer. Okay, not option D. Clear? So the second question, the writer of the above passage, option A, seems to be happy with the contemporary arrangements for circulating news. He's shocked by the casual stories about horrors and disasters reported in the newspaper. He wants better evaluation of news before publication. He wants to put his foot down on news stories. What is it? Which is like according to writer, you have to think. So the writer of the above passage wants what from the passage? So what does he mean? Is it option C? It is option C, because the whole idea from the given passage is like before throwing out anything, any junk, any news that comes up to for the publication, people has to evaluate whether it is something, valid or necessary, or is it a requirement for you to post it or publicize it to the people. So before evaluating itself, the junk is being thrown at people. That is this main concern here. So what he wants is he wants better evaluation of news before the publication. So option C is the right answer. Okay. So let's see the third question. In the above passage, the phrase amounts to a row of beans means that the news is weak and often wanting entirely, deserves no one's attention, should travel the wires, is junk dressed up as real news. So amounts to a row of beans. Yes, it is option B, deserves no one's attention, because it was mentioned clearly in the passage. I'll show you the passage once again. See the third line, it is quoted. This is important and does not amount to the row of beans, deserves no one's attention and should travel wires no further. So, deserves no one's attention. Option B is the right answer. Okay. If should not travel the wires was given, that might also be the answer, but here in option C they have given should travel the wires. So option B is the right answer. Okay, let's see the fourth question. Newspapers lack a sense of discrimination because option A, they do not separate the real news from mere sensationalism. Option B, they have to accept whatever is received on the wires. Option C, limited manpower makes serious evolution possible. Option D, people don't see the difference between junk and real news. What is the answer? Newspapers lack a sense of discrimination because, yes, do not separate the real news from mere sensationalism. So they just dump whatever news is coming to them. So they don't even think twice before dumping it to the publication. So option A is the right answer. Okay. So let's see the fifth question and the last one. The passage implies that. So you have to see the passage as a whole and answer this question. There has to be no censorship on newspapers. There is no point in having censorship. Newspapers always dress up junk to look meaningful. One has to be strict in selecting news items. So, see, when you read this out, you have to see from the writer's point of view. Just see when even when you feel some option is right to you and it might not be, because that might not be mentioned in the passage itself. So you have to understand what is what. Okay. Yes. I mean, option C, newspapers always dress up junk to look meaningful. That is a right answer. Option C. Guys, clear with this? We solved three questions, three examples based on reading comprehension. I hope we are clear with reading comprehension. Yes? Can we move forward? Can we start with the next topic? I want yes or no from everybody. Is it an yes from everyone? Is it an yes from What about others, guys? Okay, cool. Let's start with antonyms and synonyms, as I said. Okay, I'll share you with the screen. Give me a second. So, what do you understand with synonyms and antonyms? Any idea? What is synonyms and antonyms? Anything basic you understand with what are synonyms and antonyms? Yes, antonyms are opposite words. Synonyms are similar. Words which share the same meaning. You call them as synonyms. Antonyms, the opposite words of what given, is called antonyms. Let's see one by one. So synonyms. Let's see synonyms first. Here they have given words that mean the same are nothing but synonyms. So you can see the example also. Intelligent also means as bright, correct? Plentiful also means as abundant. So these can be the example of synonyms. So why synonyms and antonyms are important topic? Because you have to know the meaning of the given word. See whether it is reading comprehension or anything else it might be. But when comes to reading comprehension, it is important because you have to know the exact meaning of the words given mentioned in the passage. So you have to have good vocabulary. You have to know many words, as much as words possible, for you to understand the meaning of the given word or statement. So that is why let's just brush up through synonyms and antonyms. Okay. So what is synonym? A synonym is a word or a phrase that means exactly or nearly the same as another word or phrase in the same language. So it has to mean exactly or nearly the same as another word or phrase in the same language. Okay, so for example, look at the paragraph below. Just let's read it out. The girl looked out of the window. While looking out the window, the girl noticed the little kitty. The little kitty she noticed was not fat. It was very much not fat and unattractive. Okay. The word fat was repeated twice in the paragraph, making it monotonous. It does not sound good in natural speech, correct? So, if I say the cat was not fat, it was very much not fat and unattractive. See, the whole, like when I say it itself, it doesn't give a good, I mean, it doesn't sound right to you, correct? It means it makes you confusing. It makes the words itself confusing, sentence itself confusing. It is not grammatically correct. Correct. So that is why you should not, when you come across such same words making it monotonous, you can use something similar to the given word. Okay, so that is why synonym, something similar. So that is how, see the second paragraph. Instead, the paragraph can be written as in below. The girl looked out of the window. While looking out the window, the girl noticed the little kitty. The little kitty she noticed was not fat, it was skinny. See, for not fat, they didn't replace with any other word, correct? So for the second highlighted words, that is very much not fat and unattractive, they have replaced it with single word, which is skinny. So it means the same thing. So many words mean the same thing when described in a single word. That is why when replacing it, it gives you the similar meaning, correct? Understood, guys? How you can replace so many words with a single word by using a synonym? You should know the meaning of the given phrase or a word. Only then you can try replacing it with another word of the same meaning. Notice that in the second paragraph, the words not fat and skinny was used to describe the fat. Using synonyms makes the paragraph richer and more colorful. It gives more meaningful, more, attractive to the people who are having the conversation, or to the person who is saying the given statement. So for you to hear it nicely, for you to say that you have good vocabulary, using synonyms then and there, it is required. Okay, that is what is synonym. So here they have some examples. Okay, also, some synonyms have slightly different connotations when they are used, even though they might mean the same thing. Okay, guys, 1 second. Okay, now I think everything screen is visible. Yes. So, for example, even though they have the same meaning, it might cause some connotations. That is, for example, see, there are, when it comes to synonyms also, there will be certain positive words as well as negative words. So while speaking, you should not use negative words much. So you have to start using positive words. That is what is given. Examples, just see few examples, you will understand. See, when speaking about some old person, you can always mention him as senior citizen rather than old people. So that states, gives the difference between positive words and negative words, correct? Passed away, see, saying that person passed away today, that person died today. See how formal and informal it is, correct? So as in, it mentions positive and negative words. Childlike, so he behaves childlike, he is very childish. See, when you hear it itself, you can notice how positive and negative meaning the whole phrase brings, right? So he's shrewd, he's cunning, he's witty, he's sharp tongue. So these are certain words that can even turn the whole phrase into something positive rather than hurting the person to whom it is being referred to. Okay, so there are positive as well as negative words when it comes to synonym. So can two words truly be synonym? There is some debate as to whether two words can truly be synonyms. If they are different words, they must mean something slightly different or have contexts where you would use one or the other. The remaining goes, which makes them one only nearly synonymous but not truly the same thing. Okay, what the thing is, See, even though two words are, have the quite same meaning, they're not exactly the same. They have some, difference, some minimal difference between the meaning among it. That is what they're saying. It cannot, but not truly the same meaning. Something similar, but not, I mean, it will have slight difference in it. That is what is about that. Why do we need synonyms? Let's see, why do we need synonyms? When speaking or writing, one of the best ways to expand your vocabulary and to avoid using the same words repeatedly is to use a thesaurus to find synonyms. So as I said, when you're writing an essay, or when you're having a conversation, or when you're explaining some topic to somebody, instead of using the same word again and again, when you know the synonyms of certain words, you can easily, you can make yourself, the sentence said by you, or the explanation which is given by you, or the essay which is written by you can look richer or more meaningful when you use these synonyms. So that can be improved only with your vocabulary. So it depends on your diction as well. So whenever you come across words as that, try finding synonyms and try using those in your future references. Okay, only that way you can increase or improvise on your vocabulary. There is no other way to improvise on your vocabulary. It is important because synonyms can improve both your oral skills and your writing skills, as noted in the following section. As I said, even your, you know um, vocabulary in the sense as a whole, okay, whether you're speaking, whether you're writing, it depends. So when you know the words, when you know the synonyms, it is it doesn't make much of a difference whether you're reading out something, speaking, or writing, correct? So you knowing the synonyms or antonyms is important. Improvising on the vocabulary is what is important. So synonyms carry enrich the language. So the more the more improvised your vocabulary is, the more richer your conversation will be. The more people will be attracted to your speech, or whatever you are speaking to. So that is why you to understand, you to know many words as much as possible is important. Okay, to larger the number of synonyms for one letter in a language, the richer the language. So, as I said, when you for example, when you write an essay, how often you use the same word again and again, people notice that. It doesn't make your essay more attractive, more colorful, or more meaningful. That is why the using synonyms makes the best out of it. So helps to express yourself more clearly. So see, if you're speaking to someone who is more who has good vocabulary, who has a better vocabulary, then you using these words, it will help you express yourself more clearly. Even when the other person, or when the opposite person cannot understand certain words, you can, if you know the synonyms of it, you can easily make the other person understand, right? So that is important. That is the main reason behind it. You're able to deliver the exact message you intend to communicate. Okay, whatever, you will have those words in your mind. Okay, you will know what to express, or how to make that other person understand. But your vocabulary, if it is not good, then how do you even converse the same to the other person, right? At least a bits of it will be lost when while conversing or while explaining to the other person. But when your vocabulary is good, when you know the words, exact words which you have to you know tell the other person, or throw it at the other person, it gets easier for you to share what exactly you think, or what exactly you want to share with the other person. Okay, that is why that is the reason we need synonyms. So let's see the benefits. Some of the benefits are: make text much more captivating, help avoid dull text, improve communication between you and others, help provide an image in the mind of the reader, help avoid boring and repetitive text. So just think of an example of you writing an essay. That's all. If you know more words, the more attractively, the more meaningfully you can write a essay. But the lesser words you can use in a essay, how repeatedly you will repeatedly you will be using the words, how how smaller the essay can be, correct? It depends how much words you are using for the essay. So that is why, just that is one best example for synonyms, why it has to be adapted by you. Okay, so how to use synonyms? So to choose synonyms, you should consider several key things beside a word's definition, that is connotation. Do you want your meaning to be positive, negative, or neutral? Example, I said no, like there was example where old people, senior citizen was mentioned, right? So how you wanna like portray whatever you are saying, whether if it is an informal conversation you're having with your friend, you can just say that old person did that, right? But when you're having a formal conversation with somebody, or when you're having a formal discussion, usage of old people or old person is not appropriate. So for you to use the word senior citizen seems more appropriate. So that is why connotation comes into picture. Okay, so type of writing: is your work informative, persuasive, creative? So what type of writing you're actually mentioning, whether it's an essay, whether it's a letter, written letter to somebody, whether it's a letter written to your friend, whether it's a email. So it depends, right? So type of writing, audience, who has to understand the words: children, teenagers, and adults. So to if you go and tell a child, a kid who is of 5 years old, who is not aware, who is not much good at his vocabulary, then obviously he will not understand the meaning, right? So you should know whom you are speaking to. So you should know your audience well when you're having the conversation. So accordingly to age group, to people who are educated, not educated, who are familiar with knowledge, who language, who are not familiar with the language, so you should know where to converse what. So purpose: are you choosing words for description, like characterization, setting, etc.? So what is the purpose behind your conversation or your statements? For you to understand that, it is important. So if it is an purpose, whether you are explaining, whether you're just letting know that other person what you feel, just giving out a statement, it depends. It is completely depends on the purpose of that person who are willing to converse. So that is how you use synonyms. So when to use synonyms: it's important to know which synonyms to use when writing in different styles, genres, and form of writing. As I said, formal, informal, creative, fiction. Okay, so it depends what type of writing it is, or what type of conversation you are having. For instances, read the two sentences below. So, whether if it is informative, beavers are mammals. They are skilled swimmers and make their habitats in rivers called dams. So, informative means you're giving some information to somebody. When you know the actual fact, when you know that is a fact, then it is an information known by you. Correct. So, when you are informative to others, when you are giving out knowledge, or when you're sharing your knowledge with others, that is informative. See the statement how it was: beavers are mammals. They are skilled swimmers and make their habitats in rivers called dams. See the creative statement: beavers are furry animals that spend their lives swimming and collecting. They find twigs and branches from forest around them to create amazing homes on the river called dams. See how the usage of furry animals, the word furry has been highlighted, the word amazing has been highlighted. You can see how it is being bolded, correct? So it is being creative with your own words. You're not just being informative here, you're being creative as well as informative. So it depends on how creative you can make a given statement, right? So furthermore, synonyms can also be used when you make a thought more or less simple or complete, or more or less detailed or descriptive. As I said, it completely depends on you. Okay, so that is about synonyms. Let's just see some examples of synonyms and start with the antonyms. Okay, so just read this out. Baffle can also mean confuse or deceive. Beautiful can also mean attractive, pretty, lovely, stunning. Bossy can also mean controlling, tyrannical. So just read, guys. Go through these. These are just few examples. There are thousands, and I mean, it is not countable at all. That many synonyms are there, that many antonyms are there. So for you to know everything is impossible, but at least every day try, gathering, learning at least five of the antonyms or synonyms. It gets easier for you to improvise on your vocabulary. I'll just give you 2 minutes of time. Read these. Okay, it might be useful for you in your, just read it, that's all. 2 minutes of time. Okay, are you guys done? Let me just, there's a next page as well. Just read this. Yes? Just tell me done once you're done with it. Guys, done? Not even one person is saying anything. Why is it? Done with it? Not sleeping, right? Guys, yes or no? Done with it? Darshan, I think the network issue. Nobody else is facing it. I think some issue with the network. Okay, let's see antonyms now. So we have antonyms which are nothing but the disagreement, that is opposite to each other. A word that has the exact opposite meaning of another word is nothing but antonym. So it is opposite of synonym. Okay. So life is full of antonyms, from the stop and go of a traffic signal to side by side restroom doors labeled men and women. So see the examples given. So life is full of antonyms, from the stop and go of a traffic signal to side by side restroom labels, doors labeled as men and women. Okay, so most antonyms are pretty obvious, like good and bad, black and white. Some words can be transformed into their antonyms by simply adding the prefixes un, in, or non, as when likable is changed to unlikable. So by prefixing un to a given word, you can also change it to its antonym. So it depends on, it is only for few words, not everything can be changed to antonym by doing so. Okay, so the word antonym itself takes the Greek word anti, which means opposite, and adds to it onym, which comes from the Greek onoma or name. So antonym literally means opposite name. So it is from a Greek word. So its exact or literal meaning is opposite name. That is about antonyms. So we have different types of antonyms. Okay. So one is complementary. Complementary antonyms have no middle ground. For example, see, there is nothing, there is no, like, it is the exact opposite of the given word. There is nothing in between. That is what is about complementary. For example, you can see boy, girl. Is there any in between? Off, on. Is there any in between? No. So it gives the exact opposite. See the other examples: entrance, exit, exterior, interior, true or false, dead, alive, push, pull. These are all the examples of complementary antonyms. So second one is relational antonyms. These are similar to complementary antonyms, except that both must exist for them to be antonyms of each other. So they have to be present, they have to be existed. That's why, for example, above, below, doctor, patient, husband, wife, servant, master, borrow, lend, give, receive. So either of it, if it is not existing, then it is not considered as antonym. So if the patient is present, doctor should be present, correct? If the wife is there, then husband should be there. That is compulsory. That is why relational is about. Okay, graded. These antonyms deal with levels of comparison, and there can be two words on a scale. Many are relative terms which can be interpreted differently by different people. For example, young, elderly, hard, easy, happy, wistful, wise, foolish, fat, slim, warm, cool, early, late, fast, slow, dark, pale. So that is grade advice with level of comparison. So comparison comes into picture. Okay, those are the three types of antonyms we have. So how we can change a word into its antonym by prefixing anything to it. So let's just see about that now. Some examples of antonyms created by adding the prefix dis. Okay, that is agree, disagree, appear, disappear, believe, disbelieve. Can you give me one more example for the first one, where you can find the antonym of a given word by adding dis to the word, or prefixing dis to the word? Guys, be quick. One example for the first condition, that is for prefixing dis. Yes, anybody? Any example for the first condition? One more example. Okay. Nobody? Yes. Yes. Advantage, disadvantage, respect, disrespect can also be one more example. Okay. That was about the first condition. By adding the prefix in can make the following opposites, that is tolerant, intolerant, decent, indecent, discreet, indiscreet. One more example for prefixing in. Courage, discourage. Correct. So the first, second condition for prefixing in, one more example. How is pros and cons, Deepu? We're talking about antonyms by prefixing dis, in, appropriate, inappropriate. Yes. No, decrease, increase, that's the exact opposite. It is not something where you prefix it with dis, in, or something like that, and that cannot be the answer. Okay, so that was about prefixing in. So using the prefix mis, create antonyms like behave, misbehave, interpret, misinterpret, lead, mislead. One more example for the same, for prefixing mis. Yeah, open, close, that can be an example for antonym. For prefixing mis, guide, misguide can also be one more example, right? Any one more you can give? No? Yes, understand, misunderstand. Correct. Appropriate, misappropriate. Okay, so we understood, right? Adding a prefix. Yes, all everything you said is right. So let's see the importance of antonyms. Using antonyms helps to emphasize your point, show contrast, or explain what you actually mean. Antonyms can also add color to the speech and writing. You can express yourself better and more clearly. So it is the same way as synonyms. Okay, let's see the examples of antonyms, and then let's wind this up and start with the next topic. Okay, just see: achieve, fail, afraid, confident, ancient, modern, arrive, depart. See how different it can be, right? Just go through these. I'll give you 2 minutes of time, and then we'll begin with the next topic. Guys, 2 minutes time. It's 3:02 now. We'll start at 3:04. Okay. Guys, done? Yes or no? Done? Okay. I'll stop sharing the screen. Okay. Let's now begin with direct and indirect speech. Okay. Let's start with direct and indirect speech. I'll share you with the screen. So, any idea about direct and indirect speech? Have you guys heard about direct and indirect speech? Direct and indirect speech. Okay, so Ambika says yes. Let's continue then. Okay, so what do you mean by direct and indirect speech? So, what is direct speech here? Direct speech means reporting the message of the speaker in the exact words spoken by him. So, when some person, X person, okay, he tells you something and you have to convey it to some Y person. So, you have to convey it in, if you convey it the same way as the person X said, then it is called direct speech. Okay, for example, Maya said, I'm busy now. So you are telling it to somebody that Maya said, I'm busy now. You're not saying Maya said she's busy. Okay, you're saying her exact words, whatever she has said. You're repeating whatever she said just right away the same way. Okay, Maya said, I'm busy now. That is direct speech. So, what is indirect speech? Indirect speech means repeating or reporting the message of the speaker in our own words. So, we are changing, we are manipulating the sentence said. Okay, we are changing it according to our words. So, we are, the meaning might be same, but the words will be changed accordingly, like however we want. Example, Maya said that she was busy then. You can see the difference between the first and the second example, correct? So those are the differences between direct and indirect speech. If you just convey the message said same as the, same way as said by the other person, then it is direct speech. If you manipulate words accordingly and say it in your own words, then it is called as indirect speech. Can any one of you give an example for direct and indirect speech? One simple one, just as mentioned in the above slide. A simple example, a similar one you can say. I would be happy with that. But make it fast, guys. It's already 3-7. Just one example for direct and indirect speech. No? Does it take time? Okay, I don't want to waste time. Okay, let's move on. When the reporting verb of the direct speech is in past tense, then all the present tenses are changed to the corresponding tense, past tense in indirect speech. Okay, this is with respect to tense. So, when the reporting verb of the direct speech, when in given in direct speech, when the reporting verb is in a past tense, then all the present tenses in the same sentence will be changed to past tense, okay, in indirect speech. See, here is an example, direct to indirect speech, the conversion. Yes, so in direct speech she said I'm happy, but in indirect speech she said that she was happy. See how it has changed, how the tense has been changed to past tense, right? So when indirect, it has to, even when the reporting verb, that is she said, correct, that is she said is the reporting verb. So since said is the reporting verb and she is the object or subject, she said is in past tense in direct speech, then she said that she was happy. Everything in the indirect speech has to be changed to past tense. That is a how you convert from direct to indirect speech according to the tense, correct? In indirect speech, tenses do not change if the words used within the quotes talk of a habitual action or universal truth. Okay, when the statement is in quoted, okay, when it is quoted, okay, or within the quotes, and when it is the universal truth, I mean it cannot be changed, it is a truth, it is a fact that everybody knows, then obviously that I mean the tense does not apply to sentences like that, okay, whether it's a universal truth or habitual action. Okay, for example, direct to indirect speech, he said we cannot live without air. Okay, that is direct speech, he said we cannot live without air. See, if it was not quoted, if it was not universal truth, that has to be changed to past tense, correct? But here it is not, nothing has been changed to past tense even in indirect speech, because he said that we cannot live without air. It is just whatever is being said in direct speech, it is repeated in indirect speech because it was quoted and it was universal truth. Understood? That is one of the condition for tenses. So here let's see the tenses of the direct speech do not change if the reporting verb in the is in the future tense or present tense. So the direct, if it is in direct speech, if the it do not change if the reporting verb is in the future tense or present tense. Only if it is in the past tense you can change the tense in the indirect speech. If it is not mentioned in the past tense but in future tense or present tense, you don't have to change the tense accordingly. So here, for example, we have direct speech, she says or she will say I'm going. Okay, it's in present or future tense, correct? The reporting verb which is says or will say is present or future tense. So for indirect speech, again the same thing will report, you don't have to change the tense at all. She says she's going, she will say she's going, so either of it. You can see how the tense does not change in the indirect speech. So that is a condition. If the reporting verb is in present or future tense, then you don't have to change the tense when converting it to indirect tense, indirect speech. Okay, so here we have one simple example. Let's just see the example. The principal said, Allah is one. The holy prophet Muhammad is his last prophet. Okay. The principal said, Allah is one. The holy prophet Muhammad is his last prophet. See here, what you have to notice right away is that the Allah is one, the whole holy prophet Muhammad is his last prophet is quoted. Okay. It is universal truth. It is a fact, so it cannot be the tense and all can does not apply to this example. Okay, so when you see the options, let's see how we can rule out the other options and find B is the correct option. Okay, the principal told Allah is one of the holy prophet Muhammad is his last prophet. See, the it has been changed to told here, correct? Allah is one, you can see the missing period or missing full stop, right? You can see that, correct? So option A is not the right answer. Let's see option B. The principal said that Allah is one and that the holy prophet Muhammad is his last prophet. See, the whole quoted sentence or statement is repeated just as that, and it is added that in the given sentence, and the no tense is being changed in the given sentence. See option C. The principal said Allah is one and the Holy Prophet Muhammad is his prophet. You can see the statement itself is wrong, correct? They have said is his last prophet, and here the last word itself is missing, right? So not option C. Option D, the principal said that Allah was one and that the last prophet Muhammad was his last prophet. See, the tense itself, it's changed here. As I said, when it is given in quoted, when it is universal truth or habitual action, you don't have to change the tenses. Okay. So option B is the right answer. Guys, understood this? Understood this example? It is an example for quoted and universal truth. Understood? Yes? Yes or no? Good. Let's see two more examples. Okay, here. Yeah. Okay, let's see the condition. If no, is that a condition? No. Okay. If a direct speech sentence, okay, if a direct speech sentence begins with an auxiliary verb or a helping verb, the joining clause should be if or whether. So when to use if or whether in a sentence, that is given here. If this direct speech sentence begin with an auxiliary verb, then the joining clause should be if or whether. See, in for example, you can see in direct speech, she said, will you come for the party? See, will is an auxiliary verb, correct? It's an auxiliary verb. So indirect speech, she asked whether we would come for the party. See how the statement itself changed here in indirect speech. So when the sentence in indirect or direct speech begins with an auxiliary verb, then you have to use whether or if in the indirect speech. That is one example for such condition. So see the second condition, reporting verbs such as said or said to changes to inquired, asked or demanded in interrogative sentences. So reporting verbs such as said or said to, when asked, like when you're being asked as a question, when you're being interrogated. So such statements, when these reporting verbs that is said or said to will be changed to asked, were asked, inquired, anything as such. Okay, that is applicable only for interrogative sentences. See the example, you will understand it better. So in direct speech, he said to me, "What are you wearing?" So that is a direct speech. The directly she's saying it, what is said to her. Okay, she said to me, he said to me, "What are you wearing?" That's an interrogative statement, correct? It's a question mark. So in indirect speech, that said to has been changed to he asked me what I was wearing. See how the tense has been changed, and also the reporting verb which is said to has been changed to asked. He asked me what I was wearing. Guys, understood this condition? Let's see two examples on this and start with active and passive voice. Okay, so here, for example, we have he said to his friend, "Please wait for me." He said to his friend, "Please wait for me." So, option A is he requested his friend to wait for him. He said to his friend to wait for him. Okay, he told his friend to wait for him. He requested his friend that he should wait for him. So, here, first you notice that first you understand the sentence or statement there has been quoted, correct? It has been quoted, so you don't have to change the tense. So here said to will be changed to requested to. Okay, he requested his friend to wait for him, not option B, because he said to his friend to wait for him. See, where is the point of please word there? There is no, not even one statement which says or which portrays that the other person requested, correct? So not option B. Option C, he told his friend to wait for him. See, again, there is no similar word for please which has been mentioned there. So, not option C. Option D, he requested his friend that he should wait for him. See how the sentence itself has been changed here. He should means it is compulsive statement, correct? Compulsorily, he has asked the person to wait for him. So, not option D. Option A is the right answer. He said to has been changed to requested to. He requested his friend to wait for him. Okay. So, let's see one more example. He said the horse died in the night. He said the horse died in the night. So it is past, right? It is past tense, simple past, correct? So let's see the options. He said the horse had died in the night. See how the statement has been changed. The horse died in the night. It is quoted, right? He said the horse had died in the night. He said that the horse had died in the night. See, here you can say option B can be the right answer because he said that that has been added here, that the horse had died in the night. So it is changed to past because in the given direct speech, the reporting verb which is said is in past, right? So in the indirect speech, it has to be changed to past again. So option C, he said that the horse died in the night. See, again, here the tense has not been changed. So, not option C. Option D, he said that the horse has died in the night. See the statement, has died. So, it is not the right one, correct? The tense again, they have messed up with the tense in the last option. So, option B is the right answer. The past, the tense has been changed to past, and the said, the which is the reporting verb, has been mentioned with the same by adding that to the given statement. Okay, this was about direct and indirect speech. Guys, understood about direct and indirect speech? Any doubts with direct and indirect speech? Yes, no? Any doubts with respect to direct and indirect speech? I'm waiting. Just say yes or no. If you have doubts, please ask. No doubts, is it? Why nobody is answering? If there are no doubts, just say no, guys. Sorry. Okay, I'll assume that there are no doubts. Okay. I don't see anybody answering for me. Let me just continue. Now let's learn about active and passive voice. Okay. That will be the last topic. I think that will take 10 or 15 minutes of our time. Let's wind up this session with voice and, I mean, active voice and passive voice. So voice and speech means that itself. So voice will be divided to active voice, passive voice. Speech will be divided into direct speech and indirect speech. Okay. So we just finished with Am I audible? There was some network issue. Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible? I think I am audible. Okay. So let's begin with uh, active voice and passive voice. I'll share you the screen. Okay. Okay. So under voice, we have two subtopics, which is active voice and passive voice. Let's see what is voice. So, what is voice of a verb? The voice of a verb expresses whether the subject in the sentence has performed or received the action, whether the subject in the given sentence has performed or received the action. It depends, okay? That is what the voice of a verb expresses. So, for example, the watchman opens the door. See, the watchman is the subject here. He has performed some action, that is, he opened the door, correct? So, the voice of a verb is nothing but it expresses whether, like, the subject given in the statement has performed or received an action. Okay, that is, the watchman here is the subject and he opens the door is the action which he has performed. Okay, the second one is the door is opened by the watchman. Here you can see how the subject, how the same sentence can be said in a two different way, right? See, the meaning is same. The watchman opens the door is opened by the watchman, correct? So now let's understand how we can differentiate active voice and passive voice. So there are two types of voices of verb, which are verbs have two voices, that is active voice and passive voice. Let's understand what is active voice. When an action is performed by the subject is expressed by the verb, it is an active voice. So when the action is performed by the subject, then it is called as active voice. So active voice is used when more straightforward relation and clarity is required between the subject and the word. See the example, you can understand it better. Active voice example says, see, hens lays eggs, or hens lay eggs. See, hens is the subject here, correct? It lay eggs. So lay is the action performed by the hen. So that is called as active voice. Birds build nests. So birds are the subject here. They build. That is the action performed by the birds. Birds build nests. Okay. That is the examples of active voice. So passive, if you see, when the action expressed by the verb is received by the subject. See, there the action performed is the expressed, the subject itself is expressed by the verb, correct? Here the action expressed by the verb is received by the subject. It is passive voice. Passive voice is used when the doer of the action is not known. Doer of the action is not known, and the focus of the sentence is on the action and not the subject. See, in the active voice, the focus was on the subject and not on the action. But here, the focus is on the action, not on the subject. See the example, eggs are laid by hens. See, same example, it is written in both active and passive voice, correct? They have written in active voice, it was hens lay eggs. As I said, hens is the subject, lay is the action. So the preference is given to hens there. But here in passive voice, the preference eggs are laid by hens. The preference is given to the action, not the subject. Okay, nests are built by birds. Same way. Understood, guys? That is the difference between active and passive voice. Okay. So what we have to learn now is conversion of active and passive voice. Those are the questions which will be asked in your exams. So let's see the example. Simple ones. Rita wrote a letter. See, Rita is the subject here, correct? Wrote is the verb, that is action performed. Letter is the object. A letter was written by Rita. See how the arrangement itself has been changed. A letter is the object, written is the auxiliary verb, Rita is the subject, correct? See how that even the tense has been changed. Can you identify? Can you notice? See, the first one is the active voice, second one is a passive voice. She cooks food. The food is cooked by her. So, in the first statement, that is an active voice, the focus is on the subject, correct? The main focus is on subject, not the action. In the second statement, which is the passive voice, the focus is on the action, not on the subject. And even you can say the past participle, the tense has been changed to past participle. So let's just see the example of TCS which is mentioned below. I remember my sister taking me to the museum. See, you have to change the active voice to passive voice here. Okay, I remember my sister taking me to the museum. So I here is a subject, correct? Remember my sister taking me is the action, to the museum is the object. So here you have to change this to passive voice. I remember I was taken to the museum by my sister. See, it has changed to past, right? I remember being taken to the museum by my sister. I remember myself being taken to the museum by my sister. So C is also not the answer. I remember taken to the museum by my sister. See, D is again, statement itself is wrong. So option B, I remember being taken to the museum by my sister. When you read the both active and passive voice sentence, you can understand why option B is the right answer. Okay. So you have to first identify the subject, verb, and object. S plus V plus O is nothing but subject, verb, and object in the active sentence. To convert it to passive voice, you have to first identify which is subject, which is object, which is the auxiliary verb. Only then it will get easier for you to convert the same sentence to passive voice. Okay, they have given one more example. He drives car. So it is an active voice. So he is the subject, drives is the verb, and car is the object, correct? So when you interchange the object and subject with each other, that is object of the active sentence become the subject of the past sentence. See, you don't have to get confused with that. You just have to change it as car is driven by him. That will be the converted active voice to passive voice statement. Okay, the car is driven by him, car is driven by him, it can be changed as such. So there's one more example. In active voice, she knits sweaters. So the subject here is she, knits is the verb, and sweater is the object, correct? So in passive voice, the sweater is knitted by her. See how the position of subject and object has been interchanged, correct? So that is how you have to convert the same in from active to passive voice. In passive voice, sometimes the subject is not used. That is, subject in passive voice can be omitted if the sentence without it gives enough meaning. So milk is sold in liters. See, here subject itself is not used. There's no subject at all, correct? Milk is also an object, sold is the action, and liters you can consider, right? Sold is the action or the verb. So there's no particular subject, right? So even then you have to convert the same. So how you have to do is, just see here, change the base verb in the active sentence into the past participle. That is third form verb in the passive sentence, that is preceded by, with, to, etc. Base verbs are never used in the passive voice sentences. So by, with, to, etc. are the words which will not be used in passive voice. These are the verbs which will be used in active voice only. So here you can see the example for active voice. She prepares dinner. Okay, see it's in like, see the tense here. Okay, she prepares dinner, it is for future tense. She prepares dinner, right? When written in passive voice, the dinner is prepared by her. You have changed it to past participle. The dinner is prepared by her. You can see how the object and the subject position has been interchanged also. Still the tense has also been changed. See one more example. She knows him, he is known to her. See how the usage of these base verbs, third form verbs, by, with, to, etc. are being used here, correct? So active voice, juice fills the jar. The jar is filled with juice. So these are the examples. So here, let's just take one more example. Rajesh said the teacher was teaching. See how it is, correct? Rajesh said that the teacher was teaching. Rajesh said that the teacher has been teaching. Rajesh said that the teacher had been teaching. None of the above. See how you have to change here active to passive voice. See explanation. They say option C is the answer. The given sentence is in the active voice. We need to convert it into passive voice. So what is being quoted here? The teacher was teaching. So it is in past continuous tense. It is in past tense, but teaching, when they have mentioned teaching, it is continuous statement, correct? To convert this into passive voice, past participle form has to be used. So even though it's in past, you have to use it to past participle. The teacher had been teaching will be used in the passive voice. It has to be past. See, has, if it comes, it is present, correct? Was means full, like past perfect, it will be correct. So had been teaching, since it's past continuous, you have to write it as past participle. Yes. So the teacher, Rajesh said that the teacher had been teaching. That is passive voice. That is how it is converted as. So he is making a film. Let's see one more example. A film is made by him. A film had been made by him. A film is being made by him. A film has been made by him. See, when you read itself, you can understand a film is made by him. No, because he is making a film. It is present continuous. Okay, he is still making. It is in present tense and continuous because they have not mentioned made a film. He has made a film means it will be past, correct? He is making a film, so present continuous. So it has to be changed to a film is being made by him. See how the word, that is third form verb, is being used here, made by him. Okay. So the second, one more last example here we have is someone has stolen his book. Okay. So someone has stolen, that is present perfect tense. Stolen his book, it is stolen. Has come, not had, correct? Someone had stolen his book, that is past. Has come, so it is present perfect tense, not continuous because the action is not being performed, right? It has already been performed. So present perfect tense. So now you have to change it. His book is being stolen, so no, not option A. His book has been stolen, it is right. His book is stolen, that doesn't relate to the given statement. His book has stolen, so option B is the right answer. See how the book has been, I mean the object and subject position has been interchanged, how the tense has been changed. You can see, right? It has been changed to past participle, right? The present perfect tense has been changed to part participle. So these are the examples of passive voice and active voice. Guys, clear with this? Any doubt with the same? Yes, no? If there are any doubts, you can ask me right away. Any topic it might be from morning, whichever we took. No doubts, right? If there are no doubts, we can wind up the session, guys. Are there any doubts? Anybody? So, since nobody is replying, I assume it as a no. I hope everybody have understood the concepts which we learned today. Yes, thank you guys. It was a wonderful session. Just practice, go through these examples, try solving such questions. Only then it gets easier for you. Okay, only through practice you can manage to answer these questions correctly. Yes, so practice, practice, and practice. And for improvising on your vocabulary, try reading newspapers, articles, blogs, whichever you find knowledgeable or informative for your current examinations you're preparing to. When you come across such different words or new words, Google it right away and understands its meaning. Try synonyms and antonyms also. So it gets easier for you. Yes. So that is how you can improvise on your vocabulary. So just practice, solve as many questions as possible. And yeah, that will be so. Thank you guys. Let me wind up this session. Yes. Thank you so much. Have a good day.